this was basically a complete waste of time.
I think we're just doing the same show every week.
Yeah.
Where it's like, we don't know anything.
I hope people tune in. Welcome back to another edition of the RTF Show. Basketball season is upon us. Coaches are going to jail. Players are going to jail. I'm in my NBA Luol Deng jersey, but we're here to talk about football, Brother John, not the destruction of your beloved Portland Trail Blazers.
Dude, jail Blazers are back, baby.
They sure are. Wow,
right?
Head coach going to jail.
Yep. He's going to coach from jail. That's what I've heard, is that he's going to do it from jail. So, we're good. We're good over here. We are not in shambles. This is exactly what Portland needed to unite ourselves against tyranny of the federal government. Nothing else in the city has happened to bring the city together to fight tyranny. Now we have our coach wrongfully accused and thrown into jail. Mm-hmm. The frogs will be down at the FBI building every night.
Yep.
Doing the cha-cha-cha and for Chauncey. It's going to be a great time. I'm going there right after this.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to show some support for him. I'm sure this is a tough time. It only adds to his legacy, right? He's the Pete Rose of basketball now.
Yeah.
What a!
I mean, I heard it's not true, but I heard if it was true, he was only betting the over on his own players. So,
sure. I mean, to be honest, it's always more fun to bet the over in basketball, especially, right? You want to watch guys score points. All right, but we're here to talk about the RTFL. We're officially halfway through the season right now. Thursday night game has started. The Vikings are getting their ass kicked by the Chargers at the moment. It's almost the end of the third quarter. This tight end, whose name I cannot pronounce, from San Diego.
Yeah, let's just
we're going to have to refer to him in some way throughout the show.
Call him OG.
Sure, we'll call him OG. He looks incredible. Fitz started him tonight. He looks incredible. But I think let's go back to last week first. It was a busy week, a lot going on. Seasons were saved. Seasons were basically ended. Sort of. I mean, Jake's season was pretty much over, but I think last week was the real nail in the coffin for him. And people were kicked off the island. Where do you want to start? You want to start with Ken's team and the season that he saved by squeaking out a win?
Yeah, that was a Monday night game coming down to the wire. Ken pulls it out, and honestly, it was a convincing win. I was very impressed. On the backs of Gibbs and Smith Najigba. Taking that home for him, I was very impressed, and he's my pick to win the division. But I don't love it now. I don't love it because I'm gonna have to go up against him at some point, and this team's looking real good.
Yeah, I mean, Ken, and let's just move back to week 7. So Ken squeaks out that win against Josh, basically on the backs of Gibbs and JSN. Huge nights for them, and quiet weeks pretty much for everybody else on his team, with the exception of Hurts. Not only did he finally kind of look the part of a decent quarterback, it was an incredible performance by Hurts. He has it in him at times, but it just looked unbelievable last week. Although now looking at this Minnesota team, this defense may not have been quite as good as people had thought coming into the season.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not quite as impressive as we had originally thought it might have been.
Yeah. His first 300-yard game, which is huge. I mean, I think those receivers made a pretty big stink over not getting the ball, and they, win like that, that can turn that team around, which, people are calling for, the head coach to be fired, and which is just like a wild thing 7 weeks into the season after you win the Super Bowl. So,
did this game end Steve's season? Are we going to see a flurry of trades for guys like Kenneth Walker and I don't know who else? I guess Collins, Nico, though he's in concussion protocol. He did say that in the chat.
Yeah.
Do you think? Do you think he goes through with it?
No, I mean, unless someone offers him a good player and money. I think to move off a $12 contract on Nico Collins, but I could see it happening in the off season, right? I could see, something right before the draft. He makes a move to move Nico and do a full reset. But I think you got to keep Nico. I think you have to.
I mean, Nico is unquestionably talented. He's got an injury history, and he also has a quarterback that sucks.
Okay, all right. Let's not go too overboard on Stroud. Okay, when he has a clean pocket and 4 to 5 seconds to pass the ball, crushes. So, I think he's looking better over the last couple weeks. I'll say that much. Is he in my starting lineup? No, but maybe at some point.
That's true. All right. So I think this, I don't know if it saved Ken's season, but I certainly think it was helpful in terms of keeping him in what is, a very tight division race. We'll get to that in a minute. What else happened in week 7?
Well, we can quickly touch on your just absolute shellacking of your brother-in-law. Moved from one brother-in-law to your other. Duncan, I mean, just embarrassing, sir. Really, really embarrassing. Actually, I mean, he had a very bad week, and it actually is probably good that he got that out of the way, and hopefully, he's got a lot of guys on bye this week, so hopefully they come out of that after the bye week and his team starts rolling again, because he's still very much in the playoff race too. So I don't think it spells disaster for him, right?
Agreed.
Embarrassing. Did you text the family chat?
No,
did you send a little screenshot and be like, hey?
No, but I'm going to. We will both be at a wedding tomorrow night. So I would certainly be making some sort of toast on his behalf to the entire wedding, letting them know that I kicked Duncan's ass.
I mean, maybe just have like the DJ, or if there's a band, just like make a quick announcement. Like,
just have them like read the score and I pretty happy with the way things are going. Don't need to spend a ton of time on that, but I will say 140 plus points 4 weeks in a row. The Staleys are feeling pretty good about where they're at right now.
Yeah. The other game that really was out of hand and really doesn't have much significance in terms of I think playoff or potential on either team really, but Josh putting up 154 points, I believe. This feels like the first game I feel like that Josh's team has really arrived and kind of put everything together, and that is scary, first of all. But it did bring Josh into first place in the division at 3-4, but it felt like all of his players clicked finally, and so that was exciting to see.
Agreed. Josh's team, I mean, we talked about it in the preseason. Josh's team is good. It's, he had a ton of money to spend coming into the offseason, or coming into the draft. And he's got a lot of talent on that team. And it was basically just waiting for AJ Brown, right, to come on. Waiting for Chase to find a quarterback to connect with. And now he's got the surprise, I think, of finding that is Swift. The Bears have figured out how to run the football. They've been running the football the last 2 games. Swift has looked amazing.
Yards per carry is crazy.
And huge holes too. Like the offensive line has looked unbelievable. So Swift turning it on, and Javonte Williams. Javonte's been solid pretty much the entire season. And then the other big thing that I think the Chuba Hubbard thing is gonna hurt with Rico. But I think Cook's been pretty good, but the last couple games he's had down games. But I do think Cook, as the season goes on, I don't think those games are going to be very reflective of what we see from Cook the rest of the season.
I agree.
Basically, no targets the last couple of games. I think the Bills get back to targeting him in the passing game, and I think Cook, turns it up the last few weeks. So if I were Josh, I'd feel fairly confident moving forward with my team.
Yeah, great win, and Buffalo coming out of the bye this week will be really nice for him too. And I think solid reset. And as it gets colder in Buffalo, they're gonna run the ball a bit more, and I think Cook's gonna do well. But the other kind of just debacle of a game, Kelly's team putting up a paltry 55 points, and one thing, just economy of errors everywhere, outside of Judkins, or outside of, actually, I don't think she had anyone good go, huh?
No, nobody went off on her team. She got Johnston with the touchdown, basically, to save a respectable line there, but that's about it.
Yeah, one of my favorite things that I saw is if you go to like the league chat and pull up sort of like the report for the week. If you can do that, it's still somewhere. Somewhere in there. It looks better on mobile, but it gives you like how many points like someone could have scored if they had set their optimal lineup.
Yes. Below
Kelly's
expectation.
Here.
Kelly missed their projection by 45%. But she was also, let's see.
It's something where it's like She could have only scored a maximum of like 58 points or something like that.
Yeah.
Here it is. Here it is. Oh, no, she scored a 55.82 points out of a possible 56.72. So she set her optimal lineup and scored probably 99% of the possible points she could have scored, and it still only reached 55. That real bad. It's definitely not the worst score we've seen on a week ever in the RTFL, but that is rough for sure. She's off the island. Jake's 63 points somehow, and he's still somehow on the island. So Jake survives. He does have something to play for in that regard. Somehow just barely stays alive. 55 is definitely the lowest we've seen on a island leaving score. As compared to Josh's 88 points being the most and still getting kicked off the island. And that was week 4. So don't worry, Doug, I'll get all these numbers to you and the island and the weekly prizes and everything.
We should maybe create a public version of it in the public folder in the on the Google Drive.
Yeah, I'll do that.
That we can put out there. But and I don't want, we don't need to spend, we've talked about Kelly's team, I feel like, a lot this season. Or the last few weeks as we as we've kind of dissected the trades, and we will talk about it more going forward, including today when we discuss the most recent trade that she made. But I just want to hammer home, man, Saquon has just not looked like himself. Even in a game like that where the Eagles offense is clicking, 2.4 yards per carry. It just, I don't know. Is it all the touches last year? Is it the offensive line changes? I don't know, but it would have me worried if I were Kelly. All right. The other game I do want to touch on, because God, I was so hoping Fitz would get a win. And maybe this can transition us forward. But I was very hoping Fitz would get a win last week against you and break his ice cold streak, because now he comes in to play the Staleys this week. He's 0-7. I'm 7-0. Seems like the perfect time for him to get a win. And in fact, he's having a very good night as we record this. But just a heartbreaker for Fitz. Came so close, but yet so far with a dominant performance by CMC to kind of put you over the top there. It just wasn't meant to be for Fitz, despite things kind of clicking on his team. He had some good games, but then that JMO on Monday night just destroyed any hope he had.
That's a crazy, yeah, for sure. That is a crazy goose egg the way up, and he seems like he's not looked good, I would say, all season, or just not involved really. Like,
no,
his 2 big performances are propped up by those touchdowns. So it is a little concerning, but
you are not, like, look at these numbers. I mean, he's the last 4 games, basically 8 targets, just 2 receptions, 1 target, 7 targets. He gets the touchdown to kind of save his day, but even with 6 catches, only 66 yards for a guy that I think we thought of as the take the top off the defense and get them the big yards. Like, this isn't seven targets, 6 receptions for 66 yards is that's what I would expect to see from Amon-Ra on like a down game for him, not from JMO. And then two targets last night. So I don't know. It seems he's on the field, he's playing, but Goff just kind of shuts him out at some points, it seems like. So, yeah, I don't know. All that to say, it doesn't really matter. Fitz' season over and done with. So,
yeah.
So let's move forward. Let's talk about where we're at right now with. Well, actually, I guess we can do a little bit of the injuries and waiver wire. Any big injuries we need to account for here?
Yeah, that Mike Evans injury was brutal.
Oh yes, yeah,
that was rough. Seems like the 1,000-yard season streak will be done. I think he's tied right now for like the most consecutive, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's where it'll stay. Kendra Miller also out for the season.
Yeah,
looks like Kamara's probably not going anywhere now for sure. I think.
Didn't he say he would be drinking pina coladas on a beach if they traded him?
Yeah, I think he would just not come back. Jaden Daniels, I think hamstring injury. He's not playing.
Yeah, he's not playing.
Said. Bryce Young also had some sort of high ankle sprain.
Mm-hmm.
It's unclear whether he'll be playing yet. And then Justin Jefferson went to the hospital, but
yeah, but he is fine, and I don't know why you felt the need to write his name in the rundown to give me a little jolt as I looked at it like 10 minutes after the game started. Kittle comes back, basically serves as a blocker the entire game last week. Doesn't do much, but I think Kittle, I don't think that's indicative of what's to come. And
that's very odd, to have that goose egg by Kittle.
He'll pick it back up. And not much going on in the waiver wire, but we did have a trade.
Yes,
we did have a trade today. We saw Fitz and Kelly. Fitz gets Ao Manor and $12 for Devonta Smith. What's your take on this? What do you think?
I don't know. I think that's hard. Let me accept the trade right now. So
I was gonna do it. I was gonna do it live on air.
All right, do it. You do it.
Okay.
But it's hard. Let's pull up Kelly's team and take a look at this. What does Devonta Smith do for her? And that's what it's a little unclear to me. Is that the person that you want to be spending that money on? Or do you go out and spend more money on a kind of a true wide receiver one? Because now I feel like you're going to have this, analysis paralysis here. I think, I think the Rose Bros are very familiar with, of like who to play week in, week out. Do you play the wide receiver 2 for the Chargers? Or I guess really Quinton Johnson's probably the wide receiver 3 at this point. But who are you slotting in every week? In your wide receiver 2 or in your flex position? I think Kelly's going to have a harder time now. Making that decision, and so that that could be, as we all know, that could be a downfall for some of us, having to make that decision. Do you play Deebo Samuel? Do you play Worthy? Do you play Devonta Smith? Do you play Shakir? Do you play Quentin Johnston? I think she just added another of that lower tier wide receiver to just muddy up her wide receiver room even more.
So I think I agree with you, and I think the odd situation that Kelly finds herself in is basically having the wide receiver 2 on 4 different teams. Shakir is hanging out there, but she's got Johnston, who I don't know, maybe he's a wide receiver 3, but I'll say he's the wide receiver 2 for now. Samuel, although McLaren's been out, Worthy, and now that Rice is back, I don't know what Worthy's going to look like going forward. And now Smith has been better than AJ Brown this year, but I also don't think. I still think AJ Brown is the guy in that offense when they get it going. So I don't know. I think it's a good move in terms of Kelly is trying to win, and she finds herself with five wins. She's trying to make her team better. She's got 3 really good running backs, but all of whom are, Saquon is the running back 16. Henry is running back 20 on the year. And Williams is running back 9. So, she's got 3 guys that I think we're used to seeing in the top 10. And all of them are performing below that mark right now. And so I think if one of them can turn it on at the end of the season, I think she, her team looks scary. But I think she's making the right moves and going out and getting players. But I'm also a little wary. What do you think of the trade from Fitz's side? Could he have gotten more for Smith? And 2, what do you think about Aomenor? Is he an asset in this league? Do you think he could become an asset?
He could be. I think he's the wide receiver 1 there, and I think he's shown some talent for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going back to just that quarterback room. It's just so bad. Ward does not seem to be the answer so far. I mean, it could certainly turn around. And we could see towards the end of the season, maybe he's making some improvements. But as of right now, it does not seem like he could support a wide receiver 1 for fantasy purposes, right? So, but that's the thing about where Fitz is at right now is that he can take that risk and he can wait and see. So and who knows, maybe Highmore goes out and we does have some big games, and Fitz can move him too, for some money right down the stretch. So coming up on the we are coming up on the trade deadline soon, so that's going to be the next 3 weeks. So you'd have to show some promise soon, but it's there's still opportunity there.
For sure. I mean, I like the I like the roster that Fitz has in terms of the future. He's got a good set of young players who are all going to be pretty cheap, and he's got a few guys that I just don't know. He made that Lamb trade with Steve at the beginning of the season. Lamb at that price point that he was drafted at for $60. Fitz will have some extra money to throw at him. So maybe he is keepable now at that price point.
Possibly, yeah, for sure. I think that's very true.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
We'll see.
Okay. Let's move forward and take a quick look at the divisions. We're just going to check in, see where we're at right now. The Sweetness division, the Staley's sit at the top, 7-0. 100 more points than the next closest team in the league. So, solid position.
Okay.
Kelly,
okay. Who's next though? Who's the next highest scorer?
We're gonna get to that. Kelly at 5-2, Steve at 3-4. I don't think Steve is out of it. I don't want to get too deep into Steve's team, but we've already talked about him a little bit. But depending on and this will make more sense maybe when we keep going. But Steve's at 3-4. Jake at 1-6. John, you picked Jake here. I think it's safe to say you are probably not gonna get that one correct.
Nope.
Do you see any big movement within the Sweetness division in the coming weeks? Or do you think where it's at right now is fairly solidified?
I think where it ends up, like the current standings is where it will end up, right?
Yeah.
I think Kelly is making improvements to her team, so I think her points for will continue to rise in terms of that division.
Well, it'd be crazy if they went down.
Well, that's true. That's true. We haven't seen a negative score yet, but it's possible. But I think in terms of the rank and the standings, I think this is where we'll see the season end up.
I think that's probably. I would say that's probably about right.
All right. Probably have a loss or two ahead of you, but I don't think it's going to be. Maybe
could be coming this week. All right. Yeah. Let's go Papa Bear division. What I think is the most interesting, and has been the most interesting division in the league, I think, for quite some time. Doug sits atop at 5-2. Also happen to have the least amount of points scored, although it's not quite as egregious, I think, as it was a couple weeks ago. He's at 754 now, which is only 50 points behind you, you are in second place in that division by virtue of having the most points out of the 3, 4, and 3 teams. But it is all pretty tightly packed. Everybody in there, you, Ken, and Peter are all within 20 points and all have the same record. I picked Doug, actually, to win this division. I believe you picked Ken. Is that right?
I did, yeah. Yeah, we went the Hoff Bros.
How are you feeling about it right now? What are your thoughts on this division?
Oh, it's anyone's game. It's anyone's game. I'm watching all 3 of their matches each week. I am closely watching them. And I think all 4 of us won last week, which
you did. Yeah.
I was really, really hoping that I could get a leg up on one of them. But yeah, everyone took it home last week. We did not see a good showing from Alec. Steve put up a good showing, which was great. Kelly just handed Peter the W, which was unfortunate. So and then I did get the W against Fitz, but it's anyone's matchup. We'll see this week. I think we could see a shuffle. After this week, hopefully Kelly does better against Doug this week, and then we see some other, potentially some other good matchups coming, which we will talk about. But so far, Kelly's putting a bit of a stinker. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think, Johnston having 0 points in the fourth quarter in a game where they're up by 24. I don't think you're probably not counting on him to get many more points tonight, if any, and that's going to make it tough for Kelly to get a W here.
It's a little surprising that she started Johnston after making this trade, right?
I think so. I thought so too. To be honest with you, I didn't realize she was starting I don't know. I hope she didn't start him thinking that wasn't. There's still a chance she can. I mean, she can still play Devonta Smith ahead of. I mean, really, she could play him ahead of either one of her other wide receivers, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine she is. And
yeah, I would imagine she plays him ahead of Worthy. But I guess we'll see. So maybe Johnston wasn't the guy she was going to sit in.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, with Daniels out, Mariota is going to start. And so Debo, I don't know what Debo did while Mariota was starting earlier in the season, but I think pretty well. I mean, so I think you kind of have to play him. So I think it was like week 4 and week 5 that Jaden was out. Oh no, week 3 and week 4 is when Jaden was out. So not great that first week, but good the second week.
I don't recall what happened to Debo if he got banged up in that game as well. I mean, he only played 43% of the snaps. So
yeah, he might have gone out too. That might have been when he had his first when the heel injury first popped up. But
yeah, that could have been it. All right. So in terms of that division, I still feel fine in terms of Doug as my pick, but I think you have a real shot to win this division. If CMC can stay healthy, I think it's probably your division to lose at this point.
Don't put that voodoo on me.
We'll see. We'll see.
I think. I mean, I like my team outside of my quarterback situation, which I am in the market. I haven't made any offers yet, but.
Dak.
Dak is available.
Dak is available. So maybe we can do a special episode where we negotiate a trade live on here. It's not going to happen this week, but we're looking to doing that. All right, let's hit the peanut division. What a division! Nobody with a winning record. 1-0-7 team. I believe collectively the division with the least amount of points scored. Only one team over 700, and that is Porter, who Josh basically has 100 plus more points than anybody else in that division. Duncan is behind him with but still by 110 points. So I mean I have to think Josh wins this division, barring some crazy, I don't know what would happen, but I have to think it's Josh's division.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's Josh's division to lose. think, there's still that outside shot due to like matchups that Duncan or Alec come out ahead, in division standings, but similar to the Sweetness division or Papa Bear division, those last 3 weeks are gonna be a bloodbath. It could be the difference between a 7-7 team winning the division, or a 6-7, or 6-8, or an 8-6. But I think realistically we're going to see like an 8-6 or even a 7-7 team win that division. I think Josh does have a good shot of going 8-6 though at this point with that team, as we just walked through them, right? So
yeah. I mean, I think Duncan is a decent team, but I mean, this week he's got some guys on bye that are gonna keep him from putting up some big points. McConkey finally coming on while he's on Duncan's bench hurts, but
I saw that earlier. I mean, I don't know who you pull. I mean, Pacheco probably, although he's looked better. Olave, also okay. Sutton, but I think Ladd's had a couple good weeks, so I think at some point you've got to get him in the lineup somewhere.
Wait, whose team are you looking at?
Right there.
Well, I mean, the only people he would have, I don't know who he would have pulled for Ladd this week with Pickens, Sutton, and Igbuka.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have started any of them over Ladd. Or I would have started Ladd over any of them. Would you have? I mean, Ladd's had a few good weeks. I don't know.
He's had a couple down weeks, but he's been injured, right? So like he's still nursing the hammy. So like yes, he's now the number one on that team. It's still difficult, right? Like, but I think Sutton has been great, Yeah. So you kind of have to. Obviously, Pickens is an auto start at this point. But
I mean, I like Duncan's team, and I think the order in which it's in right now is probably the way it ends up, is what I would expect to see. I think Alex's team is sort of held together, especially with the Mike Evans injury, and that that's a real shot in the arm. Or the opposite of a shot in the arm, a kick in the nuts, I guess. I don't know, but for Alec, but I just don't. I don't see Alec's team competing long term in this division. I think it ends up looking like this: Josh at 1, Duncan at 2, Alec at 3, and Fitz at 4. All that to say. And this is where we're going to get back to Kelly's team before we close. Is there a world in which all 4 teams from the Papa Bear division make the playoffs?
That'll be tough, right? So I mean, what you're getting at is with the 3, you have the 3 division winners, the 3 at-large teams. Making up the 6 playoff teams, and Kelly is going to be competing for that wild card spot, one of the 3 wild card spots. Amongst Doug, myself, Peter, and Ken, I think will be realistically who's competing for those. If Kelly's team does not sort of bounce back after this last weekend. The week before wasn't great either. She really could be sweating it out for the rest of the season against all 4 of us, right? So In theory, she could miss the playoffs, and is she the new Mike? You made all those trades, spent all that money, and then missed the playoffs, right?
Yeah, we talked about it. Yeah, I think the fortunate thing for Kelly is she racked up some wins. And she is a game up at this point, but that game is tenuous, and losing to Doug this week could really hurt. And I think the unfortunate fact is she's 2 games back in the division, and she's also 230 something points back in the division. So it's going to take a lot for her to win the division. And if she doesn't win the division, she's going to be right around that win total of the teams in the Papa Bear division. But unless she starts putting up some points, her point total is going to be significantly lower. Is going to be 100 points lower than the teams that she's fighting for a playoff spot from.
Yeah.
And I think with the peanut division, it's basically, I think you get one team from that division in the playoffs. Whoever wins that division is going to be in. Yeah. So the way it's shaking out right now.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know. Yeah.
And she's got a tough road, right? She's playing Doug this week. So she started the last couple weeks. She played Ken and beat Ken, which was big. I think that was a huge win. 2 weeks ago. Ken lost to Peter this past week. Plays Doug this week. Then plays me
next week,
and then goes on to play Josh. Which if Josh's team is continuing to roll, then Eagles are on bye when I play her.
Yes, she plays you next week with Baker on a bye, Barkley on a bye, Goddard on a bye. We didn't even factor in the fact that she basically is the whole Eagles offense minus AJ Brown.
Yeah,
but
players. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, she could be starting. Yeah, I guess 3. That's right. I was thinking 4, but no, 3 Eagles players. Yeah. So she plays you, and then in week 10, I think she plays Peter. Right?
Josh. She just played Peter.
She plays Josh. That's right.
And then plays Duncan, and then back into the division.
That's right. She plays the other team that's top of division. But fortunately for her, she gets in week 10, she gets Chase and Javonte Williams on her bye. So I would circle, the next, I think coming out of the next couple weeks, this week and week 9 against your division, she's got to win one of those games. She's got to beat either you or Doug, I think, you or Doug to really help, I think keep herself at least. She'll still be in the conversation, but to be feeling good about it, I think she's got to win at least one of those games.
I mean, the nice part is then when she gets to the last 3 games, I mean, have a difficult matchup against you, but seemingly easier matchups against Jake and Steve. And so they're, and whereas then at that point, our division is just battling it out. And you could see, a lot of people end up 2-1 through those 3 weeks, or 1-2. If you don't win, I think if any of us don't win 2 of the last 3 games in our division, then you're not winning the division, and 2, you're seriously on the hot seat to not even make the playoffs.
And that's why I think it's really important that Kelly gets at least one win in these next 2 weeks, because she's going to need it. It's going to help a lot when it shakes out in your division, because whoever that odd man out is, she's going to want to have a win over them, or a win, at least stacked one of those. So,
I don't want to be the team that, is at, 4 losses or even 5 losses heading into division, matchups, right? That is a disaster waiting to happen. So, it can be real interesting down the stretch here, I think.
It is. It is. Things are going to get spicy. All right. Well, the Bolts have kicked the Vikings' asses. The game is now over. Fitz has himself gets a pretty solid night. 40 points between OG, his tight end, and Herbert. Jefferson doesn't do anything in the second half. Leaves me with about 11 points, which I'll take. That's fine. So, there's a shot here where the defeated and the undefeated, we each get what he gets what he's after. I get what I'm not after. All right. I think that's it, right? Anything else we're going to cover?
No, I think that's about it, right? I think some great matchups this week. And we are no closer to having a clear playoff picture. I think
we didn't solve anything.
It's more muddy.
Yeah. This was basically a complete waste of time.
I think we're just doing the same show every week. Where it's like, we don't know anything.
I hope people tune in. All right. Well, for Brother John, this has been the RTF Show.
Thanks, Chauncey.
Oh man, I forgot how to stop it. But
God damn it, Mike.
That's all right.